Okay, everybody, let's talk about what to look for when selecting your channels or aggregators that you're going to work with. Okay, because what your objective here should be is to find aggregators that can help you overcome your specific challenges, right? Just like we talked about in the six steps video to working with the aggregators and channels, is that you've got to be able to solve some of their problems, right? You've got to be able to add value to their world. Well, at the same time, they've got to be able to add value to your world. Okay, it doesn't make sense necessarily to work with everyone. You've got to find the channels and aggregators that can help you with your specific challenges. And there are really a few challenges that, if you put them into big buckets, that you'll probably have. And so therefore, some thoughts and consideration that needs to go into, okay, which channels or aggregators are going to help me solve these problems most effectively. First challenge is that you have no list, right? And I imagine for a lot of you getting started, that's the case. It was for me. If you don't have a list to market to, you need to look for channels or aggregators that have not only a big list, I mean, by definition, if they're a channel or an aggregator, they have a list, but also that they communicate with that list on a regular basis, that they have some sort of influence with that communication in terms of getting that audience to take action on different products or services. And that maybe there's some sort of central place that they aggregate that audience that you can message to that audience at. It's a website or a forum or something like that. You want to look for an aggregator that's got those specific qualities, because a lot of businesses have lots and lots of customers, but they never actually communicate with those customers in any sort of effective way, right? So as an example, I have a payroll company that runs the payroll at my business, and I'm sure they run the payroll for probably hundreds of thousands of businesses. But I've never heard from anybody there. I never get any message from them. If they ask me to go and buy something because of their relationship, it would have no influence on me, okay? So you want to look for those aggregators that actually have some sort of influence, that actually communicate to that list on a regular basis. Next, your challenge may be that you have a complex offering, okay? We're typically dealing with these technology-based offerings, and a lot of times most small business owners just don't understand that stuff. So it can make a lot of sense for you to have some sort of one-on-one interaction with that small business owner to be able to really explain the services that you have to offer. And that's why, in a lot of cases, we end up in this sales process where we're having to go and sell to people individually, one-on-one, and that's very expensive and very time-consuming, okay? So if you can find a channel or aggregator that can put you in a position to talk to those people individually as they're coming in the door already at their business, that can save you a tremendous amount of money and give you a lot of additional exposure. Let me give you an example. I was actually working on a deal that ended up falling through because I sold my business, and so I got out of it. But I was working on a deal with my previous business where I was actually working with the major telecom providers like Verizon and AT&T, that I would have a physical presence in their stores because I could help people with iPhones and iPads and understanding how to use those and set them up and train them and stuff like that. So kind of like the Genius Bar at Apple, I had an opportunity where I was going to be kind of the Genius Bar at some of these other major places. So as you can imagine, that would have been just a huge opportunity for my business. Well, the value of that is they obviously bring in the foot traffic. They bring in people who are going to buy phones and buy iPads and stuff every day. So if I had a little kiosk in their store that said, hey, training available on the cheap, come get help, obviously that's a major aggregation point for me. So you may have an opportunity like that depending on what you're offering. Again, get creative and think of what kinds of channels or aggregators you could tap into. Next is you may be in a really overcrowded market. You may be going into a market that already has a lot of people that are pitching what you're pitching. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? Because you're actually going into a proven market. I would rather you go into a proven market than a market where nobody's been able to make it work yet. Because if nobody's been able to make it work yet, chances are you're not going to be able to either, or it's going to be very, very expensive before you do. So if you're in an overcrowded market, really what you're looking for some sort of partner that you can go into that market with where you can add something of unique value to what they're currently doing, okay? I'm thinking in the software world, you see this all the time, right? You see that, okay, somebody's got some piece of software out there in the marketplace, but you've created some additional module that could be for sale for the owners of that piece of software that would give them enhanced value and really differentiate the total package. Like you see like Salesforce.com, right? Salesforce.com has a CRM system, and a lot of people out there have a CRM system. But Salesforce.com also has a huge ecosystem of developers who develop additional pieces of software that connect to Salesforce that make it much, much more valuable. So now if you're comparing CRM systems and you go, I can buy this one and have to do custom development and aggregation or integration into other tools I want to use, or I can just go to Salesforce over here and I can just press a button and connect into all these other different tools. That's an example of Salesforce that said, hey, yeah, come help us out, all you other developers. We can't develop everything. And the developers say, well, shoot, if I'm going to partner up with anybody, it's going to be Salesforce because they're going to take me out to market and they're going to lower my cost of customer acquisition. So you can figure out ways to do that as well in your marketplace, right? There may be somebody out there that's already selling in your marketplace that if you could just solve some particular problem with your offering, they're going to say, man, let's package these things together and I'll take it out to market and promote it for you, okay? So those are the three most common challenges. And again, depending on what your challenges are, and there may be multiple challenges, but depending on what they are, you really want to look at the aggregator and say, okay, before I go and spend a lot of time developing a relationship with this aggregator, is this something that they're going to be able to provide the value that I really need? Are they that type of aggregator? If not, move on and make sure you find one that can really add the benefits that you need as well.